Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zenful Conversations. Thanks so much for your love, for sharing in this circle of friendship and discussion. We are here every single day. And yesterday, we just celebrated reading 2,000 days in a row. So thanks for supporting this community. Please visit zenfulconversations.com for more info. If nothing else, sign up for my email list because I don't always keep it up to date. We have a lot of guest speakers that have said yes, and I don't have them on the website yet, but there are a couple there, and you'll be notified if you sign up for them. So please visit zenfulconversations.com, and thanks again for your continued support. This year, we are having a conversation about our conversation this year. We're talking about being present for our own lives, this field of present. Remarkably, I had the opportunity to take a virtual training with Sir Eckhart Tolle last year, October 2023. Actually, it started in May. It was a 5-month training, I think it was. And he is definitely someone that speaks of now, being present right now. A lot of people do. And so this is an interesting conversation to me. It really is. And I do hope it is for you too. It's definitely not huge on the stimulation scale unless you get in the zone to receive the message. To me, I'm finding them wild, breathtaking. I have to stop and take a breath sometimes. To me, there's very, very powerful message this year. We're talking about the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo, New York Times best-selling book, described as having the life you want by being present to the life you have. And the message we're offered for this day number 2001 is titled, Learning How to Float. Learning how to float. Much of the way I'm receiving the messages offered by Mark Nepo, which is a different, to me, there's, it's just expressed differently, this field of now, this present being present moment. But I'm gathering from a lot of these messages that we're reading is how much we're missing out on for fear and different reasons. It's different to me than why not fully being present or not being here at home and thinking about the office, and when I'm at the office thinking about home. To me, this book has been, a lot of it has been about how much we're closing ourselves off. What is it for self-protection? I don't know, but let's go ahead and hear what the message we're offered today. This day number 2001 is titled Learning How to Float. Learning how to float. When we stop struggling, we float. When we stop struggling, we float. When we first learn how to swim, let me back up, read it as it's written. When first learning how to swim, I did not trust the deep. No matter how many assuring voices I heard from shore, I strained and flapped to keep my chin above the surface. It exhausted me, and only when exhausted did I relax enough to immerse myself to the point that I could feel the cradle of the deep keep me afloat. I've come to understand that this is the struggle we all replay between doubt and faith. Let's hear it again. I've come to understand that this is the struggle we all replay between doubt and faith. When thrust into any situation over our head, our reflex is to fight with all our might the terrible feeling that we are sinking. So when thrust into any situation that we're over our head in, our reflex is to fight with all of our might against this terrible feeling that we are sinking. And yet the more we resist, the more we feel our own weight and wear ourselves out. I'm feeling this today. I'm feeling that. At times like this, I remember learning to float. Mysteriously, it required letting almost all of me rest below the surface before the deep would hold me up. And it seems to me almost 40 years later that the practice of finding our faith is very much like that. We need to rest enough of ourselves below the surface of things until we find ourselves upheld. This is very hard to do. But the essence of trust is believing that you will be held up if you let go. And though we can practice relaxing our fear and meeting the deep, there is no real way to prepare for letting go other than to just let go. Once immersed, once below the surface, it is not by chance that things slow down, go clear, and feel weightless. Perhaps faith is nothing more than taking the risk to rest below the surface. That we can't stay there only affirms that we must choose the deep again and again in order to live fully. That we must move through the sense of sinking before being upheld is what trusting the universe is all about. Well, this little girl here never learned to float. And I'll tell you, I've been contemplating on this word resistance lately and wondering why just observing the amount of resistance is present at times, so that I recognize that wear ourselves out. The more we resist, the more we feel our own weight and wear ourselves out. I don't know, like get out of my own way. But this is so incredibly put about what it means to trust, that at times like this, I remember learning to float. Mysteriously, it required letting almost all of me rest below the surface before the deep would hold me up. And it seems to me, almost 40 years later, that the practice of finding our faith is very much like that. That we need to rest enough of ourselves below the surface of things until we find ourselves upheld. This is very hard to do. But the essence of trust, and this is it right here, the essence of trust is believing you will be held up if you let go. And though we can practice relaxing our fear and meeting the deep, there is no real way to prepare for letting go other than to just let go. And though we can't stay there, we can't stay floating, that only affirms that we must choose the deep again and again in order to live fully. That we must move through the sense of sinking before being upheld is what trusting the universe is all about. Good golly, Miss Molly. I hope we feel that, and I hope that resonates in ourselves. And may it take root in us like a healing medicine. Because we are divine beings. The meditative exercise offered to us today asks us to fill our bathtub with warm water. And hold your hand open, palm up, with the back of your hand on the surface of the water. Feel the effort required to keep your hand on the surface. Breathe slowly, letting your hand enter the water. And as your hand relaxes, feel yourself meeting the deep. And while breathing slowly, keep placing your hand in the water and practice entering the deep and resting below the surface. Practice moving beyond the sense of sinking. Practice the soft attention needed to realize when you are being upheld. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful messages. So the just let go. I can't let that go without talking about our poet that wrote the poem, She Let Go. That poem, She Let Go, took over the internet. And I think it's an incredibly profound poem. Quite honestly, I created a workshop with it in mind. It inspired me to create a workshop, women's workshop. But we are having, that poem was written by Sapphire Rose, and Sapphire Rose has agreed to be a guest speaker for us on the Zenful Conversations. These conversations are free of charge. They are via Zoom. They are open to everybody. And you can sign up at zenfulconversations.com. You'll get the Zoom link and a reminder also. That is on Thursday, August 1st at 4 p.m. Eastern. Please visit zenfulconversations.com, though. We are having our Summer of Love poetry series. We are having Zenful Conversations, Summer of Love. And we're going to have a bunch of poets. We've already got 4. I've got some ideas here. But I'm also going to extend it out into the other classes and offerings. We're having a Summer of Love, and it's going to be a Summer of Self-Love. And you are welcome to join if you are a newcomer at any time without any charge there too. These are offerings for women only. The conversations and the guest speakers are for the public. Guys, if you follow any of these guest speakers and you have interest in coming, you are welcome to. The other offerings are for women only, though, because they are safe spaces for women to go a little bit deeper and release. And it's just different. When the guys are there, the dynamics are changed and they don't open up as much. So that's the only reason I want to hold this space. In deep and honest gratitude, everyone. See you tomorrow. Namaste.